Hey, podcast world out there. Here I am. It's been a long time. Again, I'm Patrick Scales, aka Pretty Pat. I just decided to do a podcast. My family and friends decided, we all got together, and it was like the last time that I did the podcast. Well, I had went live on Facebook and a couple other things, and everybody was like, Pat, why don't you do it again? You were good and you were natural, and as you can see, it didn't go to my head because I'm just not doing it. But I've been doing a few things, and I've decided that maybe I should, because there's a lot of things that's going on in the world today that need to be talked about. And my fiance told me that I need to go ahead and do this, and then she went as far as going back, showing me some old footage and stuff like that. And I didn't know that it affected people the way it did. Even my sister. And my sister is one of the toughest persons you could please. She don't like nobody, and she just mean. But she liked it. And she told me one day, she was like, Pat, why did you stop doing going live? And I was like, well, I really just got up there just to talk. I didn't really think that anybody was gonna, because with my life and what I've been through, you just do things and you really don't think people have to listen to you, to be honest with you. But I guess I was wrong. So here I am. This is not gonna be my first podcast. Actually, this is gonna be just a test run. That's all this is. As you can see, I couldn't sleep, and I decided to get up and come in and just mess around. I'm in the studio. I haven't got it ready yet. But I just say, let me just give it a little test run, because I really don't know what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to gear it to. Well, I know what I'm going to gear it to. The name of my podcast is going to be Bouncing Back, Bouncing back from the realities of the struggle, meaning what I've been through, what somebody else has been through, and we overcame it. Like with my story, it's being on drugs, being in the streets, being an ex-dealer or whatever, and how it brought me to my knees pretty much, and brought destruction to my life. And, I'm late in the game, trying to make it happen. But at the same time, I'm bouncing back, and I'm determined to bounce back, I'm determined to do what I have to do to be successful in life. I come from a showbiz family, to be honest with you. A lot of people don't know that. My great-grandfather is William Bojangles Robinson, Mr. Bojangles, the one that used to tap dance, and, he was the black pioneer back in the, early 1900s, so late 1900s, or whatever, that started the tap dancing for our culture. And on my mother's side, I'm tied, my family's tied in with the movie called Rosewood. I know a lot of you are familiar with Rosewood. A lot of those kids that were hidden in the woods were my great aunts and uncles, and because our family eventually, I come from a mixed family, and they eventually moved to Florida, Rosewood, to start their business over, and then they hired a lot of, anyway, we get to all that. But, my little sister, Damie Scales, was best friends with Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. And Missy pretty much grew up in our household. She was around our house all the time. Me and Missy, we used to always be on the floor and watch movies, TV, and stuff like that. Trip, I used to be in the house while her and my sister walk around the house rapping like dudes. I know how Missy got started. Her and my sister putting on my clothes and my hats and just walking around. They thought it was salt and pepper back in the day, and I didn't really think nothing was going to happen, to it. Like, I just thought it was a phase that it was going through. But at the same time, Missy blew. Missy became Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. And I remember the first time I seen her on a video on TV, it was Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I was just tripping. I was like, oh. I said, man, that's Missy. And I had to pick up the phone and call my brother. I said, look, bro, I just saw Missy on TV. He was like, yeah, man, you're late. Missy went to New York to get discovered a long time ago. So I was like, oh, okay. So that's that story. And my father was Dr. William B. Howell, a civil rights activist with Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson and all that them days. And I believe that's where I take my, purpose from, or my purpose intertwines with his some kind of way, because I'm a fighter for the underdogs. I'm a diehard for the underdogs. So I am an underdog. And I just know the struggle. I just know how rough it is, how tough it is to bounce back. A lot of people out there in the world, you really don't have to be on drugs. You really don't have to be in the streets to have a situation where you have to bounce back from, It could be weight loss. It could be depression. It could be an abusive relationship. It could be, just losing a job. It could be going through a divorce. It could be anything that you fell off from where you felt good about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then it could be just a situation where you never felt good about yourself. Low self-esteem, And eventually you bounce back. You got back on the grind. You found some type of motivation, some type of encouragement, and you were able to, see things, the way that God intended for you to see them, as far as yourself and your self-esteem and your self-worth. And you developed a plan or a desire to bounce back. So that's what my podcast is all about. And I know I'm up. I didn't mean to show my third eye, but I know a lot of people be like, Illuminati or whatever. No, it's not. It's just simply the third eye, meaning that, I think a certain way, the ego, the head, and I've been through a lot, and you're conscious and you're unconscious. It's a battle there, the battle of the mind. But the third eye means godly wisdom. It means to see things in God's way. And God is always watching. So that's my third eye, So whenever I want to act stupid or do something stupid or come to a destructive, situation that I act foolishly, or let's just say not act the right way, I just had to sit back and regroup and pray about it and use my third eye. Look into a situation deeply, and pretty much say, what would God do? What would Jesus do? And come to a better conclusion that's not going to cause destruction in my life, harm in my life, or somebody else's life. And sometimes that might be tough. Sometimes that might be real tough. But anyway, my son I'm so proud of him. He's a professional comedian. His name is Petey Ray Red. Oh, PJ Patrick Williams. Petey Ray Red. Look him up. He's blowing up. He's going to be on TV. He's been on TV. He was the host of, Living 757. And he's done several, shows. He's always doing shows. He does stand-up. He does, He's opened up for Tamala Man. So, I mean, he's done the same. And I'm proud of old PJ. PJ, pieces to you, man. And deuces up because, you know, you're doing your thing, man, and your day is due. So be looking out for the C. Petey Ray Bread on the TV pretty soon. And he's one of the first ones that I'm going to interview, because that's what I'm going to be doing, interviewing different people who bounce back, you know, who are successful. And, you know, and I'm also going to have a segment called Living Legends. Living Legends is just about people who you hear about or heard about. It was supposed to be something, and they just lost. They were lost in the sauce, lost in the struggle, you know. And, you know, you wonder what happened to these guys. You know, they were popular. They were well known. They used to do this. They used to do that. Even if they talk bad about you, he was this, he was that, and you doing good. Come on to my show, and I'm going to give you a platform to be able to speak up and show, you know, where you've been at, and show people that, you know, you bounce back. You know, it's all about having a good reputation and feeling good about yourself, you know, because nothing feels worse than you looking down on yourself, you know, due to, you know, external factors, people, situations, or whatever. And people can dog you. Society can dog you. Your family can dog you, you know. And that can be one of the most hurting things. I was going to say heartfelt, but it's heartfelt. But it can be one of the most hurtingest things when your family talks junk about you and, you know, don't believe in you. And, you know, that's tough. I've witnessed that firsthand. But when you bounce back, because it's all about bouncing back, remember that. You got to create your own platform. You know, you can't be riding nobody else's coattail. The only coattail you should ride is Jesus's. Like, what was that? The Samaritan lady or whatever the lady was, she grabbed on the Jesus coat, his robe, and Jesus felt her because she was, you know, all the pieces. And I think she had been bleeding, or what? I don't want to say it wrong, but I mean, she was in turmoil. She was in a bad way. But she knew that she had to grab on to Jesus. Jesus came walking through, and I don't know if she heard that he was coming through or through the grapevine or whatever, but I know she got herself in position to grab hold to his robe, you know what I'm saying, and hold on to it because she had faith. She just believed that if she could just touch his robe, that she would be healed. That's a heck of a faith, man. And, you know, and that's the type of faith that we need, you know, just to be able to be in God's presence, to know that I'm going to be all right. You know, I've been through that, you know, and I know it's tough that when you're going through something, you know, you can just be going through and you didn't really lose your way, you know, but something tells you that if I can just get in the presence of God, if I could just touch his hem, Jesus' hem, if I could just be somewhere where I know he's been. And once you know, or is, and once you know that he's always present, he's always in the mix, you know, he's here, he's now, he's in your heart. The Holy Spirit is in your heart. I don't mean to start preaching, but yes, I do. Because that's what saved me. You know, and I'm not afraid of it. I'm not ashamed of it, because what I used to be was terrible, you know. And sometimes you can get with a person and person still make you feel terrible. But just remember, you're not terrible. You on your grind. You bouncing back. And that too is a process. So find your way or whatever. Do what you have to do. Get motivated, and, you know, read. It all depends on what you put inside you too. Be quick to listen. I'm sorry, I pointed to the mouth. Be quick to listen and slow to speak. And just learn some things. Sit back and process some things. And I call it self-reflect. It's time to self-reflect. So then you could be sitting here, well, not here, or beside me, because I'm gonna have it set up like a, interview. You're gonna be sitting on my show, explaining how you bounce back so that you can help somebody else. So I'm glad I had an opportunity to, get up in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep. This thing was just boiling because I had supposed to start this like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And it's just, I haven't been in a place to, start it for some reason. And I was on fire at first. I said, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and we can do that. And then we can procrastinate. But if you continue to let procrastination kill your dream, a dream is just what it is, a dream, if you don't, pursue it. So you have to take the proper steps to take the move forward. And I guarantee you, God will get behind you and he'll push you. And you never know what you can do until you do it. So what I'm saying is, this is not the beginning. This is just a test run. But be looking forward to the first show of Bouncing Back by Pretty Pat this week. And I guarantee you it'll be something to watch. I mean, you'll get to enjoy it. And if you have any questions during the segment, you got some questions. It's about being real. It's about being transparent. I'm not here to hide anything. If you got any questions for me or a family member or yourself or whatever, feel free to throw it out there and we're going to deal with it, because it's about being transparent and it's about being real and it's about helping the next person, how you got out of a hole or a trap. You show somebody else how you did that. It's not about getting out. A lot of people can get out and be successful or do this and forget where they come from. That's not me. I don't have the plan. I don't have the concrete plan to be able to tell you, look, take this pill and this gonna happen, because that's not how it's gonna happen. Excuse me, I just got over COVID as well. And pink eye, so I just went through it. That's why the delay was here, but even though with the next couple of days of me getting over it, I still didn't feel like doing this. But something in my spirit was just like, man, you better do it, you better do it, you better do it. Because it just didn't seem right. When God puts something in you and you get a vision, it's just, you need to act on it, It's time. Because if you lean on your own understanding and just keep putting it on, you might miss the bus. You might miss the blessing, And I don't want to miss that blessing, because my life has been a pure, holy hell up until now, So I'm looking for great things to come for the end of this year, in the beginning of 2024. That's going to be my year, and y'all going to help me with that, because America loves nothing better than a redemption story. And my story is a redemption story. Oh, let me tell you this. I know I said a lot of things about a lot of people in my family who have been successful, but I didn't mention about myself. I wrote a book. I'm in a book called Crave, Soldier of a Hungry Soul. I don't think I have it right here on hand, but during the show, I have it for you. Written by Lori Kennedy. Look it up, Crave. And I had an opportunity to write my own story. She wrote a story about me, and it's a good read. Not about me. She put about my life in her book. Her book was about her. It was her story about a young girl growing up in poverty, moving from project to project, from home to home, looking for a man to save them. And at the end of the boat, she realized that a man couldn't save her, that she had to save herself. So in my darkest hour, out there in them streets, I was able to be a light to somebody's darkness, and that made me feel good. And because I wasn't feeling good about myself, but at the same time, I didn't bring this young lady down like I could have done. Because I loved her like she loved me, but I loved her enough to let her go. You know, I don't like at the funerals or weddings when they have the doves and they open the cage and they let the doves go. And it looks so beautiful. That's what I did. This was a sweetheart to me, you know, and she was my baby. She was a dove, and I just had to let her go because I know that she could do magnificent things out there in the world if I just let her go and not hold her down, hold her back. Because I was inside the struggle, and she met me in the projects while I was selling drugs and on drugs, and you know, it just wasn't a good look. So in other words, you don't know who you can touch, or you don't know who you are touching. Let's say that. So, you know, I don't know how much I can say to find whatever there is that will motivate you to move, to do better than what you've been doing, or to change what you've been doing, or whatever, because your reputation is everything. And God didn't put us here on this earth to be unhappy. He put us here to be happy. And then once you're happy, He put us here to also share that happiness so that somebody else can be happy. And that's what it's all about. So again, this week, what was it? Morgan Mindy, what up? Be there, be square. Y'all young cats, y'all don't know nothing about that. The old heads know. Be there, be square. Bouncing back, Pretty Pat. Thanks for letting me share.